we talked about the market maker cycle, the pattern, their behaviors, and now we're starting to break it down, understanding how to analyze the dealer trend. That's the first part of understanding that. Tomorrow, I'm going to add candlestick patterns, moving averages, TDI over the next 2 days. How to bring those pieces, which are regular technical indicators, which I don't care for, but how to use those pieces to help you analyze those patterns. Tomorrow, we're going to take the dealer stuff and make it fit into regular indicators over the next couple of days so you can see the patterns. I have some videos that I developed for you guys that are going to be fun. I have a lot of stuff in store. We still have to answer the quiz. We have a lot to do. I could promise you the next 2 nights we're probably going to go late. And we're going to have Jim Nicholson. And on the last night, the DMR will be presented in the last hour of class from 10 to 11 or 10 to 10:30 or so. Okay, that's how it lays out the rest of the week.
Okay, so what is R&D and why do you need to do it? Okay, so, yeah, I had a little typo there, my bad. So the R&D is the new name given for homework. Okay, a lot of people were like, oh, homework sounds like so boring and it looks like a chore. So we changed it to research and development. Okay, so we do R&D when we want to learn what works and what does not work for us. That's the key word, us. Because only you can do your own homework. You cannot cheat. Okay, you can't copy somebody's homework. This is not high school. You gotta do it yourself. Because you will learn a ton of stuff while doing it. I'll give you a couple of examples, okay? Alright, so remember Steve always talks about 3 hits to the high. On the 3rd hit, we own you. It does it also on the moving averages. If it hits it twice, the second one, it'll move. But if it doesn't move on the second one, the 3rd one is going to move 80 pips or more. Guaranteed. Go back and look at it. Alright? For example, I'm going to show you some of the stuff, okay? And not on my presentation here, but probably on the charts. So you guys can walk away with something cool. These are the little things you learn while you're doing your homework. Alright? Also, the homework will give you the confidence you need to pull the trigger on the hard right edge. Okay? You see a couple of things and you see, you know what, I've seen it so many times. Second leg railroad track, man, those things almost always pay out. Take the trade. The homework will also allow you to learn how to manage your trade, which I think is really important. Okay? Nelson Hall from Canada, he has a saying, if you see a reversal pattern after you enter a trade, get out, very likely it's going the opposite direction. Okay, you can stop and reverse. Or, if you see something not the way it should present. So, for example, you're on a trade for an hour and a half, 2 hours, like Steve says, and you don't see the shift candle, which is usually, a solid candle, 15 to 20 pips. Very likely it's still going to chop and something is not right. Get out of the trade. You can always enter the trade. Okay, R&D includes going over trades you have taken to discover what worked and what did not. That's part of your homework. Just like Steve was talking about inventory, you constantly have to know what your inventory is like for your business. Same thing, you got to know what worked, which trade worked, and which trade did not work. Okay? We have something called the accountability factor in the DMR, and a couple of people participate in it. And I remember David McCoy sending this stuff to me when he first started. He would send to me and he would copy Steve on it, or send to Steve and copy me on it, vice versa. He sent it to both of us. And what used to happen was he used to take a ton of trades, like Steve said before. And over time, the number of trades started shrinking. And the quality of his trades started improving. Okay, so rather than anticipating first leg, anticipating with the highs, you see a big vector candle, you go short, it's already gone 80 pips, it can't go any higher. things like that. You just gotta wait for your set. Okay? You then research what did not work to see how to either avoid it or learn to make it work. The better way, obviously, is to avoid it. That way you don't have to waste time on trying to make things work that you can't see. For example, straightaways. A lot of people can't see straightaways. Let it go. What would be considered R&D? Okay, first, you gotta know your platform. You have to know your platform. I still get people calling me a year after they've taken Steve's class saying, how do I load this indicator? You gotta know that stuff already. Alright? It's like being a chef and be like, I don't know what knife I'm gonna use to cut melons. Alright? You need to know how to add indicators, scripts, and templates. Take the time to learn these tools of the trade. You need to know how to work the toolbar. You need to know how to use scripts and customize them to your setting using MetaEditor. Ray did a fantastic job talking about scripts on Saturday, how to customize them, and we will go over that again in the live class in New York. So please pay attention, or just go look at the recording for Saturday, just to go over and freshen it up. Gotta use scripts because they are the fastest way and the most efficient way to trade. Okay? If you're fumbling through this stuff, price doesn't sit still and be like, oh, I'm going to wait for you to take my trade. No, they're just going to keep moving. Alright? You have to be able to see it, pinpoint accuracy, execution. Okay? You need to know how to mark up your charts. You need to know how to save the markup. And you need to know how to make the flashcard and have the setup ingrained in your head. You gotta know, if you shut your eyes, you should be able to see your signature trade. So if you right now shut your eyes and say, bam, signature trade, the minute you think about signature trade, that pattern should automatically appear in your head, what it's supposed to be. Alright? Okay, so this is a very quick review on the toolbar because I know some of you will ask me this thing, so I'm just going to quickly go over it. Okay? So, tools you will use. Okay? So anywhere in this little section here, you can see my arrow. You right click anywhere on the toolbar to see a list of choices. Okay? You gotta click customize. And then when you click customize, says customizing your toolbar. You're gonna select, for example, rectangle. Okay, I select rectangle and ellipse. I've already shown this on the Saturday. That's why the review. Okay, you select it, and then you click the insert button. It's going to go from this side, available, to this side that says selected. And once you're done, click close. And that's where this thing is going to appear. The little box is going to appear. So now to customize the box, you're going to click on the box and just draw it. You just click it from here, left click, and just make it go across the screen, and it's going to look like this with little dots on there. Okay? If the dot doesn't appear, you double click at the edge and these dots will appear. If you right click on these dots, this little screen will appear and you select the word that says rectangle properties. Okay? Once in there, once you click that, this screen is going to appear. And now you can change the color, which is what I like, dark orange, and you can change the width of the box. Alright, make sure you uncheck draw object as background so it doesn't draw the color in the background. Okay, this is for the width. And this is what you're gonna get. So this is what you got. Okay, you get this. You got this. Okay, with the boxes on, with the dots on, you can move the box anywhere on the charts. So if you click the middle dot, you can move the screen anywhere. If you click any one of these dots on the side, you can resize the box. If you double click on the dots, you will freeze this frame. Okay? The next thing that you're going to need is a trend line. Okay? Pretty much these are the two important tools I want you guys to be aware of, obviously besides the ellipse. Okay, and the other one that you're going to use to write your verbiage is the A, not the T. Okay? So then you click and you drop this on your chart, the trend line, and it's going to look like this. It's going to go from where you put it to infinity. And you see 3 little dots. You double click on these dots, or you double click on the dot to make it appear, if it's not there already, and you right click on the dot, and you're going to get this little window pop up. Okay, trendline properties, that's the one you're going to select. And this next box that shows up is going to be this. Okay, and you can select the color, which I like white. And this, if you click this down, it's the third line. It's kind of thick, either 2 or number 3, whichever one you want. Okay? And make sure when you go to the next tab, the one that says parameter, you make sure you uncheck Ray. Ray is checked out here. You get rid of it. You get rid of Ray. Okay? So now, instead of your line being from here all the way across the screen, you can now resize this trend line to whatever you want. Okay? Make sure you have the dots if you want to move the line. So if you click right in the middle of this dot and you start moving it, the trend line is going to move. Okay? If you click it on the edge and you just move it, the trend line is going to start moving with it. And you double click them to just freeze them. Okay? And you're going to use this text, not the T, but the A. Okay, so marking up your charts. You got to find the anchor first, like Steve talked about. Okay, the anchor or peak formation high or low is where the market makers start their move after trapping volume. Okay, you will find the anchor usually in level 3, or sometimes in level 1 in a reset, which we cover in the DMR. Talk more about the resets over there. Okay, so the reset, the anchor is where you usually could be found after 2 to 3 days of rise or fall, but up to 5 days, like Steve said. So you kind of start looking for price movements. Exactly the pattern, the market maker cycle that Steve talked about. 3 to 5 days of rise, 3 levels of rise. Level 3 or the third day of the movement cycle is usually very choppy. Market makers are usually all in here. Okay, this is where they put all their money. That way they know which direction they want to move the market. So you identify a multi-day, multi-session M or W pattern, 3 hits to the high or low, extended peak formation, and you draw a box around the anchor. Head and shoulders is one of them. Okay? So for example, in this example, you see it came and hit it once, it hit it twice, it hit it the third time too. It's almost like a 22 trade. See, 3 hits to the high, bam, 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 right? So you find your anchor and you draw a box around it. Okay, and then you can just label it. You click the little A button and you just drop it wherever you want and just type in all these verbiage. If you click on the top over here, a little dot will appear, a little white dot, and you can move the verbiage around the screen to wherever you want it to go. Okay, so after you do this, you can write out the number of days. So for example, remember level 3 becomes level 1, the first movement cycle down, and then the first consolidation, right? So you see a 1350 cross to the downside, price that's consolidating over here, that's your level 1. So this is day 1 drop. You know where your drop begin and ends. So if you draw a box around here, you will know, okay, my thing ended here, this is where it started. So kind of the lowest and the highest point after it takes out level 3. Okay? If it's up here, obviously still part of level 3, not level 1, right? And then from here, obviously this is day 1 drop, day 1 consolidation, or level 1 consolidation, level 2 drop, or day 2 drop, day 2 consolidation. Okay? And then finally, you got your day 3 drop, and you got your first leg, and you're waiting for your second leg to complete the anchor. Okay? So 3 days of drop, you're expecting a reversal. When you start doing your homework, just mark out the days. Okay? If you can't see the levels clearly, first of all, identify the peak, the anchor, like that. And then just say, you know what, from here, I should start seeing day one drop. So now you go, okay, I see it. The day started here, it ended here, looked like day one drop. Okay, good. My day started here, my day ended here, that looked like day two drop. That's good. So that's how sometimes look at the day candle. Maybe that'll help you. I don't know. Sometimes they throw a little doji. That's not considered a day because it started and ended at the same spot. So that you can see is not a full day drop or rise, right? So draw these boxes. If you don't like the boxes, draw the pushes. Okay, draw these the drops actually instead of the consolidation. Normally I like the consolidation because I can see them clearer. Sometimes these drops kind of like this. It's kind of like up and down. It's not very clear to see. So it's easier for me just to draw a little box and say everything inside this box is at level. Okay? And then you draw the boxes around these consolidations to show, remember, when the market comes out, it comes out in consolidation. Then it's going to work the high, hit the stops, form a little M pattern, railroad track, then it starts dropping. Okay, then you start marking other things, your entries from here. Okay, I see the star pattern, bam, I'm entering here. I see my railroad track, bam, I'm entering here. Okay, so the market maker cycle plays out over 3 days to 5 days. And then it comes out sort of like a W pattern, rises off the low. Now you got your 1350 cross, now you're in level 1. Okay, can it come back down? Yeah, it can have a bigger, wider level 3. So you're just watching. Ideal traders, you're trading away from the peak formation, right? So that's what, can it come back down to challenge the low? Yep, it can. But doing all this homework, you're going to realize what is the better trade. Okay? So marking this way, either you can use days of drop, 1, 2, 3 days of drop. You can use the boxes, okay, to show level 1 consolidation, level 2 consolidation, level 3 consolidation, or number of days. So any way you want to look at it, that's how you do it. Okay? That's one piece of the puzzle. The other piece of the puzzle is marking your patterns and your entries. Okay? So you see the blue tracer? Price hits it, it kind of rolls over, right? Comes down, and then comes back up to challenge the high. It's the multi-day M. Remember, you can start remembering, Steve said multi-day M, head and shoulder patterns, multi-session patterns. Usually I'm at level 3, aft, especially if all the moving averages are fanned out, right? My 50s here, my 200s here, obviously my 800s somewhere down here. Okay? So it comes up, it was these little railroad tracks, it comes back down, it comes back up, challenges the high, and then it does a little star looking pattern over here, it started rolling over and starts dropping. Okay, so however you see the market is how you're going to mark it. So if you say, you know what, that looks good, that's my first entry. You enter, it may hit 40, 50 pips, it may not. You see it coming back up, you're like, you know what, if it comes down railroad tracks, I'll take the trade again. But for now, I'm just going to close my position, just in case. I don't know if they do extended stop hunts or not. Things like that you're going to learn along the way. Okay? Alright, so level 1 or drop 1 from the peak. So you mark that, and then you also mark. So at level 1, you're expecting what? Stop and high and drop. So you know you're looking for that stuff. You say, you know what, it hit here first, it came back, hit it second time, hit it one more time in London. I see a beautiful star formation, shooting star. That's my entry. You gotta know, like Steve said, you gotta have a flashcard to show you on the hard right edge what are you expecting to see, where you're gonna find it, and what it's gonna look like. Okay? At one point, obviously, this was a big green candle. inducing longs above the Asian high. And then intraday, you can see kind of like quick consolidation, and then drop, right? So they do little things in between, but it'll also teach you while doing homework how you're going to manage your trade. You think, you know what? I'm going to manage my trade. If it doesn't close above the 13, I'm going to stay in my trade. That's it. And it just stays below, and you grab this entire move and you walk around the house hitting on your chest and say, who's better than me? Okay? That could happen. We wouldn't know about it though. Alright, so after you see the star formation and you mark the entry, okay, you identify the pattern and you mark your entries. Level 2, you're expecting again, stop and high drop. And that's why I sometimes draw these little zigzags for myself. So I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for stop and high, and I'm looking for it to drop. And sure enough, it does. It's kind of like, if you look at it this way, you see, it hit it once, hit it twice, hit it 3 times. See it? Bam. Close below, come back again. Close below, come back one more time. And then finally throws railroad tracks right at the start of the US session, and just rolls over. And if you're again managing your trade off the 13, you grab another 100 pips. Alright? Then that weekend you were sitting in the Bahamas, hanging out with Tim. Alright, also you notice your moving average crossovers, things like that you're going to notice. You're like, oh cool, I see that I'm expecting price to do this. Alright, level 3 or the peak or anchor formation. You get down here. Level 3, you're expecting reversals after 3 days of drop or up to 5 days. You identify the pattern and you mark the entry if clear. If clear is the keyword. Here, if you don't see it, it's not clear because you're expecting it to come all the way to the low and challenge the low. You don't mark it. You don't make it up. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, that looks about right. I'm going to get it right there. That's all hindsight stuff. All right? If it's not clear, don't mark it, but know where you are in the cycle. This I see. Nice little trap back below the moving average. I see all my moving averages above me, all my resistance are above me. I'm going to take the short right here. My stop is going to go right above the spin bar. That's it. Okay, so this is what the full cycle is drawn out. Okay, you know your individual entries, railroad tracks here. I know what's going to happen. This is my A1. Stop and high drop, level 1. I draw my little zigzags. I got my days written out. My next day is level 2. I see my entry. I mark out railroad tracks. I put my entry mark there. I put my little level 3 down here. This is a full cycle drawn out, so I know what I'm expecting to see. Now, can level 2 chop and go a lot longer this way? Yes, of course it can. If you did enough homework, you realize that sometimes in level 2, it'll come challenge the low, it'll go up above, and it'll spend the whole day going the opposite direction. Why? Remember, level 2, like Steve said, is absent of market makers, right? So if this, let's presume this is level 2 drop, right? It's absent of market makers using the emotion of the retail traders. Why can't the market maker just come a little bit back, take all the money of everything that they didn't, this all retail traders or small hedge funds and things like that, take all their money, they just come right back into this range, grab everybody which is not their money, they don't really care, it's somebody else's money, take it. And then take one day confusing people going the opposite direction, form the M pattern, which is the right trade, and take it that way down, because you're looking for stop and high drop. It could happen here. It could happen the next day. So don't get bent out of shape if it goes the opposite direction one day. You just have to know your cycle. Remember, it's 3 to 5 days. Okay? Homework it. You should be able to see it. Alright? So you have to know where you are, where you're going, what you're going to find, what it's going to look like, and where your entry is going to be. Okay, so here's another example of the cycle. They did a little reset of the 800. This is the pound dollar, by the way. and then they started dropping. They took out this level. They came back, hit the stop through a star pattern between the moving averages, came right back and closed below all the moving averages. That's my entry. I've seen it enough times. I just know that's where the next move, they're going to try to confuse you by going up. But I know better. Why? There is no second leg for me. If this was my second leg and I did this, and it was two big railroad tracks that have been out, I know where my exit is going to be. Okay, I know what's going to look like when it's wrong. Okay, that gives you the comfort to take the trade, and if it looks something different, if it comes back with nice big railroad tracks, I'm out. Okay, beautiful, M. Okay, you say, this is a little too tiny, it's not above the moving averages here. Wait till it closes, take the trade after it closes below. Whatever you're comfortable with. So you know the number of days, you know which direction you're going to go, you know where you are in the cycle, you know what the pattern is going to look like when you take the trade, what your entry candle is going to look like, and that's it. Okay, this is peak formation low. This is a little bit hard to enter. If you don't see any entry, it's a pass. Some of you may have said, okay, beautiful. Bing, bing, through a pin right below the first leg. I'm going long right here. That's cool. And here's one more example. Same thing. They threw the pin right here. They went into crazy sideways action. But I know I'm looking for shorts. I'm looking for every reason to take the short. I'm in day 2. It comes above the Asian high, induces the traps. I'm in. Drops. It forms a W pattern. People get confused. They're like, oh my God, it's probably going to rise. It comes up, it throws a whole bunch of candles up here. I'm still looking for shorts. Finally, in the US session, it chops London, railroad tracks. I take it. Okay? This is how you're supposed to do your homework. Know the market maker cycle. Know what your entry candle is supposed to look like. Like Steve said, if it shows up in the shadow box, that's your Brinks. That's even better. And you got to know which direction you're going to go. Okay. So if you do not like the cycle, just go with the patterns. Okay. So some people say, you know what, cycles are crazy. I don't see it. Sometimes it goes long instead of short, and then it goes short instead of long. I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Then for those people and whose focus is on the pattern, you better know exactly what your pattern is going to look like, where you're going to find it, especially on the hard right edge, and you got to take it. Notice the moving averages are fan to the upside. Okay? Notice it's coming up here. You got to take it. It's the pattern. It's an M, second leg railroad track I'm in. Did it hit 50 pips? I don't know. But I remember, if my moving average is a fan to the upside and I'm trading right into all this resistance, you got to know where your first target is and where your second target is. Usually the water the first target, like Steve says, and Mayo the second target. You got to know that stuff. So you got to measure it and say, it's only 10 pips. I'm not going to take this trade. Okay? And same thing, the W pattern. You got to know. Coming out of the box, 1, consolidate. 2, takes out this area, right? 2, 3. 3 to the low. 3 swipes. Comes back below, towards railroad tracks. I see prices forming a lower low. I see my TDI forming a higher high. There's divergence. I know my entry is right after the railroad tracks. Why? Because that's what my homework says. If you did a screen capture, this is where it's going to be. Bam, then you're going to have your little verbiage over here. Okay? Did I see vector coming down? Yes. Did all the moving average fanned out? Yes. Am I level 3? Yes, it looks like that. Did I get 3 swipes to the low? Yes, I did. Do I have a confirmed pattern second leg railroad track? Yes, I did. Is there divergence of TDI? Yes, there is. Things like that. You put all that stuff on your little flashcard, and you just check them off. Okay, that, and then your flashcard is going to end right here. Okay? I'll show you guys how to do that, by the way. Okay, you got to mark up the TDI as well. Just don't mark the chart and don't look at the TDI. The TDI is going to give you confirmations. Like Steve says, confluence of events. Alright? Yes, I see divergence. Beautiful. I see this going the other direction. I see price forming high highs. I see a beautiful C. You will notice. First leg, trap. Stop hunt. Second leg, traps. Do enough homework, you see it. He's like, cool, I see it. I'm going to wait for a high test candle, 50% retrace. I'm going to go in with a foot soldier right here. And you're trading into the moving averages, my first target, my second target. How do I know? Here's my 5200 cross. This could be a reset. Okay? But marking the TDI, here's your M. Here's your shark fin. It comes right up, they induce, they trap, they throw a high test candle, you go in. Here's your previous day's high. And they trapped on the 200 EMA. Beautiful. Throw the nice, beautiful shark fin. Crosses the signal line. You're in. But you got to mark them. Okay, now how do you save the images? It's pretty simple. You right click on your chart and you're going to click the word save as picture. Okay, you can select either active workspace or active chart, either one. In this example, I selected active workspace and you click OK. And then I like to put it on my desktop because I have a little folder where I throw all the patterns in there. So for example, let me call it an M pattern. I name it. Click save. And that's how you save anything. Any chart. Okay? So now, the flashcard, once you have the Mona Lisa of the M and W pattern, you need to make a flashcard out of it. So for example, Steve already gave you the safety trade as the flashcard. You already have it. You need to have the flashcard handy when you trade so you can cross-reference it when you think you see your pattern. You know what? Yeah, I look like a safety trade. I see the peak formation. I see a moving average cross now. I look like I'm in level 1 consolidation. I'm looking for it. And when it comes up, it gives you a nice little M. You take that trade. Okay? You also need to write a checklist of what makes the setup good while you're doing your homework, while you're doing your R&D. That's what the R&D is for, is to create the checklist. Something you can see, like Steve says, something you can see, bam, I see that, man. I see railroad tracks. I see it's clear. It's easy. All right? The R&D and the flashcard should make you confident in your setups and know that you're going to be 80% plus accurate. When you do enough of them, you will know exactly what it's supposed to look like. And you will wait for them. I know some people say, oh, why do you only take 6 trades a week? Why do you only take 4 trades a week? Because that's what presented for me. Because based on what I did, that's what presented. So that's the one I take. So here's the flashcard example. Here's my peak. A little crooked. Okay, it broke through my moving average cross. Okay, cool. I see it. Price is hanging out here. I look to the left. I'm like, I see it. This is level 3, moving average up cross. It didn't bounce off here, so it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, right? So very likely I'm looking for what? Level 1. I'm waiting for a stop and high drop. So did the anchor lock? Yes, it did. A moving average lock 5200 in this instance, in this case. Are you in level 1? Yeah, it looks like I'm in level 1. It took off the peak. I'm in level 1 consolidation. Did the 1350 or the 5200 EMA cross? Yep, both did. TDI shark fin first leg and second leg inside the band. Yeah, it seems to be that way. Shark fin sticks out of the water, first leg. And the second leg is inside the water. Looks like a little M over here. Did price form a nameable second leg? Yep, looks like a nameable second leg to me. It looks like a little railroad track and a nice close below the 13 EMA. Okay, so I'm going to take this trade. That's where my flashcard tells me my entry is supposed to be. Alright? Obviously, there's variations to the theme, but this is the example I have. Okay? So, let me just, the last thing I have right here is just kind of, this is something that Gary Fredericks had up in the forum. I thought it was just kind of funny. So, this is an evolution of a trader. This is the day and night trader. This is somebody that trades day and night. He looks ready to pass out. He's actually passed out. He's crawling on the floor. Okay, he has a whole bunch of bad words he wants to say, but he can't say it. This is the day trader. He's all stressed out. He has no idea what's going on. And this is following a leader, Steve, standing tall. Okay, you know the direction. You already did your homework. You're confident. You even went and worked out. Looks good. Okay, so this is a quote. This is from Steve himself. He always says this, and I'm going to quote it. If you never see it in hindsight, you will never see it in foresight. Okay? So, homework is the key. Homework is the key. So for those of you who are struggling, I know you guys have done your homework. Some of you have. Some of you may not have done your homework. I don't know. Only you know. Okay, and if you did do your homework, don't just mark up the charts and be like, I did my homework. What did you learn from it? Look at what you learned. Okay, I see a nice trap. It closed right here. I'm in. I see divergence. Price is forming a lower low. My TD is not falling for it. It's sitting above. It's sitting all the way oversold. Okay, this is a big fat W. One leg is out of the band. One leg is inside the band. I'm in level 3. I'm looking for longs. That's my trade. Things like that. What did you learn? That's what you got to ask yourself. What did I learn when I did my homework? I learned a lot of stuff when I did my homework. Tons. Okay? Alright, so, like we talked about, if you right click on your chart, you can always go to save as picture, and you can select one or the other, and then you can select on your thing. Now, how do you make your flashcard? Pretty simple. Something I just learned a couple of seconds ago. If you click the shift and the print screen at the same time, click the shift and print screen. I just did. Shift and print screen at the same time. And if you go to start, you see I don't want to go and find where the paint is. I just come right here and I type in paint. Okay, I just type paint and I click enter and paint pops up. Okay, remember earlier I clicked shift and print screen? Guess what? I'm going to come right here under paste. You can do paste or you can do paste from whatever you want, but ideally you're going to go paste and it's going to pop up that chart I just took a snapshot of. You see it? It includes all this other stuff, of course. I mean, so that's okay. Nobody really cares, right? That's there. The whole key is you got this. All right, and then you can mark it up. Normally, I like to mark my charts directly on my chart. That way, I don't have to mark it up here. All right. So, okay. So now, how do I make my flashcard? Pretty simple. All right. So you come over here. You got this here. Right. You can click rectangle. All right. And you just draw your rectangle anywhere in here. I'm going to color it in. I don't have it colored in. I don't normally use this, by the way. I use Snagit. Okay. So this is something new for me too. Okay. I'll come right up to the edge. You can leave that side of it open, whatever you want to do, like that. Go all the way up. Scroll all the way to the right, and you can cover that. Oh my goodness, it has everything in here. Okay? So if you have one screen, it'll work better. Okay, and then you just color this in. All right, so fill, I guess, right? Anyway, you get the idea. So if it's white, okay, or gray or whatever it is, at least if it's white, you can actually write something on there. So if I'm writing something on here, I'll create this little box here, right? And then I'll just write safety trade setups or checklist, right? And then I can write number 1, you know what I'm saying, is the anchor lock, for example, is so whatever your checklist is going to be, you can actually write it. Okay, this is not the safety trade, but I'm just saying. So let's say if this is W pattern checklist. Okay, so you're going to write, is there vector to form the first leg? Number 2. Things like that, okay? So this is how you would write it. And then when you're done, you save it. You go save, and you save it on your desktop. Whatever you want to call it. M, W, all that good stuff. Now, this is how I personally do it. This is not how I do it. This is how I do it. Okay, so this is my pattern. I click print screen, and then I have, as you can see, this little thing on the right side, right down here, which is going on top and bottom. You see all this thing moving on the top there? That one is my screen capture. I use Snagit. So if I want to just grab this picture right here, I can go from here, I left click on it, and I can capture the picture of exactly what I want. So when it pops up, this is what's going to look like on my screen. Okay, just this picture. And then for me, it's pretty simple. I just click this, and then I just color or cover in the areas I don't want. Okay, I'm sure there's an example of that using Jing and all the other editing software. Okay, you can change the color over here. Right click, change it to white. Okay, so now I can go in and write a whole bunch of stuff that I want to write, and now I know that's my entry. Okay, I can even I can draw my little things over there. I can say, you know what? Whoops, nope, that's not it. The way this one works is like this. I draw this thing here, and then I just grab it and I put it over there like that. Okay, so that way I know that's my entry, and everything else is over here, and that's what my W pattern is going to look like, quarter wood, whatever you want to call it, second leg. Alright, when you're done, just save it. Save as, and then you just put it in your desktop, and you call it whatever you want. Alright, I think that's pretty simple. Again, we're going to cover this live, and if you guys have questions about, something like this, shoot us an email. We'd be happy to help. Okay? Okay, let me just read a couple of questions really quickly. Can you perform this box exercise on all the major pairs? Yeah, sure you can. Okay, I already planned to because, there's something else going on, okay. Karen, how do you distinguish a stop hunt from a trap move? I think Steve will probably answer that tomorrow. On the divergence in the bottom, what does each color represent? Oh, TDI stuff, Steve is going to cover that, when he covers the TDI, he's going to cover it. I'm just kind of showing you how to do the homework. So, finish the class. When the class is over, review this section again on how to do the homework. That's why I want to kind of keep it not too long. And then, that way, once you have all the components after it's covered, then you can just quickly go in and start marking your homeworks up. Alright? Okay, so here we go. James just gave me a good thing. Alt print screen will only capture the MT4 window. Okay? Alt print screen will only capture the MT4 window. Shift print screen will capture everything. Okay? Alright. How do we map commands to the mouse button and scroll wheel on the mouse? The scroll wheel on the mouse automatically has the crosshair. Okay? If you right click, it'll give you this option. And if you left click, you select stuff on the chart. Okay, so if I want to move this, I left click on it, I can move it. If I right click on this, it'll give me this selection. Okay, how do I program this? I don't know, man. I'm not a programmer. I just know how to use certain things. Okay. What is your email address? My email address is fractal, FRACTAL, pips, PIPS, @gmail.com. Any questions about this stuff? We are absolutely happy to help. And what do you mean by the term hard right edge? This is what I mean by the term hard right edge. When I look over here and I see this, I have an idea of which direction I want to go. That's what I mean by hard right edge. So let the candles play out, and you're waiting for some pattern to happen. I'm looking for this, knowing where I am on the cycle. Am I from the bottom coming up, or am I from the top coming down? And from here, right here is my hard right edge. Okay? I'll give my email address. Thank you. Do I use Bamboo? No, apparently I do not use Bamboo. I'm sick to say I don't use the Bamboo. I mean, I have it. I just never got a chance to use it. Because the other tools were so much more simpler to use, and I just said forget it. Because the Bamboo, I have to print screen it, and then I got to put it into a Word document or Paint, and then I can draw from there. It's too cumbersome. So it's a lot easier for me to just go click here, and I go, this is my M. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about convenience for me, because I want to be able to do this continuously. If you see all my charts are marked, I have my things marked. I say, okay, that's my peak. I know which direction I'm going to go, things like that. I have everything marked. I know what my entries are going to be and things like that. So, okay, print screen options on the Mac. So anybody who knows print screen options on the Mac, I think it was FN plus F, I believe, right? Somebody wrote that last time. It was like FN as in function, and then the F12, or whatever the F button is. How do you get the videos? The videos are going to be posted. Steve mentioned that earlier. It's going to be posted in the forum. I believe it's going to replace the December videos. Okay, so how do I duplicate something? You see that the verbiage is right here. Okay, so for example, if I want to enter down here also, I can obviously click this and select it over here, right? Now, instead of me typing enter again, if I click on this, you see this little white dot up here? I click the control button and I just left click and drag it, and I create an exact duplicate of something. So it speeds up my homework process. Okay? It speeds up my homework process. Like I was saying, it hits it twice. Hit it, come back, miss it, and then come back and hit it one more time with a trap move. I'm waiting for this. If it doesn't happen here, I know it's going to happen here. Things like that. Okay? Okay, for Mac, Control and Shift, and then 4. Command Shift 3. Some people are saying Command Shift 3. Some are saying Control and Shift, then the number 4. Okay, just to clarify, are we marking charts to email tomorrow, or is this ongoing for the DMR after the course? The marking of this is for your own benefit. The homework is for you to do. We're just showing you how to do them. Okay, and also, of course, if Steve said this is how you're going to mark the chart, then you just come in and you just mark the charts. You can use all the tools in the toolbar, which we talked about on Saturday, to mark your charts. Okay? Moving forward. This is from now till when you're done trading. Is there a phone number to get help with the homework? I think Compass FX is doing that. I'm not sure. I'm sure we'll get that information for you, Scott. Okay. If you do Shift, Command, and 4, will bring up a cursor, and that lets you outline the area you wish to capture. If you hold the control down when completing the cropping, it will let you do a C paste into a document. Okay, so whoever has any questions about how to do it with Mac, you can also post something in the forum, and I'm sure Helen or whoever else can answer those questions. Okay. I have an MT4 broker that has the time synced to GMT plus 3. How do I determine if the start of the day is set correctly with respect to the blue Asian box and the following sessions? Okay, good question. Right now, for the automatic setup, this is automatically done. Ray did a fantastic job creating this work time, and this work time is set up to work time 1.6. That's the one that automatically goes into your computer, figures out what your GMT offset is, and set it to where the Asian session starts. Obviously, in the East Coast time, it's like 8 o'clock, right? So that'll go from 8 to 1 o'clock. And then all the other boxes are adjusted based on Asian time. So if your GMT offset is a little bit different, you use this version 1.6, work time 1.6, and it should automatically do it for you. If you don't have that, if you have another version, the simplest way to do is you sit in front of your computer and say, okay, this right now is whatever time it is, and you time map it by yourself, making sure that the box ends at 1 o'clock. Okay? So if it's not, then usually your box will start from wherever your tracer is. Then you have to wait till 1 o'clock in the morning to make sure it ends. And it's really simple. You just go to the work time and you just select beginning, which will be your tracer, your day tracer, and it ends at 1 o'clock. So whatever your GMT offset is plus. So if, for example, if it's GMT offset plus 3, okay, and there's the GMT is 4 hours difference and your offset is 3, which is 7, you can just mark it off like that. Okay, I think this one is 6 or 7 hour difference. I'm not sure. FXDD. This is just done automatically, so I don't have to worry about that stuff. Okay, session boxes are placed at different places on different brokers. MT4 platform. What do you do? Okay, session boxes are placed at different places on different brokers. When you use this 1.6 version, it should all line up for you. Okay, so you don't have to sit there and figure this stuff out. Okay, hopefully that should help you. All right, Scott, thank you very much. Hope things clear up for the next 2 days because I am lost. It should, Jody. It should clear up for in the next couple of days. Okay. Where can I find this 1.6 version? It should be in the forum. 1.6 under. Let's see. So if you click into the forum, all right, and if you go into they changed a lot of stuff. You know what? Just send Ray send Ray Jarvis an email. He'll send it to you. How about that? It's in the student folder. Okay, so Charlotte is saying it's in the student folder. So that should be in the student folder. Okay, one says auto GMT, auto adjust, and one says non-auto adjust. The one that says non-auto adjust or nothing is the 1.6. Yes, Charlotte, yes. Whatever platform you just drop 1.6 into it, it should automatically adjust it for you. Richard, don't we want the Asian box to start at the day turnover line? Some people do, some people don't. This is how Ray designed it. Does it really matter? It's up to you. Okay, for me personally, I like the old one where I start from the edge. So I sit there and I time map it. I come in and I say, okay, the box should end, and I manually adjust it. So mine is manually adjusted. This is for, obviously, for the demo account for the DMR purposes. I just used it so that all of us in the DMR are using the same boxes, so that way students are looking at the same chart at any given time. Let's see, I would like to have the dragger for the take profit. Yeah, the dragger is pretty awesome. This is what I personally like to use. So it just kind of makes things a lot simpler. If you guys need the dragger, again, shoot me an email. I'll send it to you. It's fractalpips@gmail.com. Okay, I think we've covered all the questions. So you guys are pretty clear on how to mark up your homework. Okay, if you guys have some questions, obviously you can send us an email, but just review the video again. I thought I pretty much covered it pretty much in detail of how to mark up your chart. Okay, and once Steve finishes the lessons, you should be able to see what's going on. Okay, so for example, that's the stop hunt, it was pinned, that's the trap they induce, and they come right back in. So homework it, you'll see them. They're all over the place. Okay. All right. Mel, thank you very much. All right. Let's go over the last question and then let everybody go to bed. Okay. Carl, could you point at the Asian box start time on your chart to verify it is correct? All right. So this should end at 9. So this is, FXDD. I think it's 7 hours. If I haven't mistaken. Nope, I don't have the GMT offset indicator there. The GMT offset indicator, you just drop it, it'll tell you what your offset is for the GMT. I don't have that. So, but I believe this is correct because I'm just looking at I've looked at this so many different times. I think it's like 7 hours. Yeah. Exactly 7 hours, because if this box starts at 3 o'clock, it goes from 3 to 4, and that's 10 o'clock minus 7, so that's 3 hours. So this is 2. 7 minus 9, that's 2. So this box ends at 2 o'clock, not 1 o'clock, which is fine. Doesn't matter. I wake up at almost 3 o'clock, so it really doesn't matter when this box ends. I just need to know which direction I'm going to go, which direction I'm going to take my trade. I think that's more important. Did I discuss the time offset on Saturday? I personally didn't. I know Ray talked a lot about the boxes because he's the one that actually designed the work time. So he is the one that actually spoke almost half hour about the boxes and how to adjust it and stuff like that. Look at the video on Saturday. That should help. Okay. Yeah, Tom, it's 7 o'clock. That's what it says. 7 for FXDD 1.6, yes. What is my sleep schedule? At the present time, I have issues with my eyes, so I'm just trading the US session for now. But normally I'm a London trader. I love trading London. I see the moves a lot easier. Not as easy in the US session like this, but I can see this stuff. Bam, 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 I'm short somewhere in here. Obviously this one not, but I would be looking for a reason to short this pair. So things like that. So when it comes out, I'm watching this and I know what I'm going to do. Well, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? You tell me. What do you see? Here's the trap low, beautiful W pattern, right? I'm off the low. Could it be a reset? It could, but long bias. How do you know it's going to be a reset? It has to take out 3. That's it.